Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary of the entire Israeli operation Shield and Arrow. And so welcome to the land of Israel, and or the land of Palestine, depending on which side you prefer to support. And so you guys must have seen the footages or heard of the news being reported on the news of all the Iron Domes shooting down all these rockets and everything. Then maybe you are wondering what the hell is happening. So let me tell you what is happening. It all started from this one person, this one situation. So there's this Palestinian activist called Adnan. So he's affiliated to this terrorist group or freedom fighter group, whatever, depending on how much you support the Palestinians. So this group is called the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, or short form PIJ. So this Islamic Jihad, he's affiliated, this activist. So he has been going in and out of prison in Israel for whatever thing that he's doing. And finally, he did this massive hunger strike. And he go hungry for 3 months, and eventually he died. So he died. And this caused outroar. And the PIJ very angrily fired a round of rockets on the same day that he died, to kind of like protest, or to hit back at the Israelis. And so it was reported that 22 rockets was fired into Sderot, and then there is 12 civilians wounded from this, including one a bit serious, who is from China, a foreign laborer from China. And then interestingly is the Israelis did not strike back. Usually the Israelis do attack or counterattack almost instantly, but this time around nothing happened. This was on the 2nd. Nothing happened for one entire week, and then suddenly airstrike. Airstrike was then reported on Khan Yunis, which is actually the southern city in the Gaza Strip, and this airstrike reportedly killed 2 Palestinians, and it hits a specific car. And it's unknown who was being targeted, but two of them within the car is killed. Then it turned out that the Israelis has announced the Operation Shield and Arrow, and this operation is specifically targeting the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the PIJ, exclusively. So the idea is to, according to Israel, to send a message that PIJ cannot feel that it is free to launch mass attack on civilians at will. And interestingly is that they also seek to differentiate between Hamas and PIJ. They don't want to mix these two organizations together. And so this is one of this hallmark of this operation is really very different from all the previous operations within Palestine. And within the same day, massive airstrikes happens all over the place. And while this is happening, the Israeli armed forces also went into action to arrest suspects and terrorists, or people that they think that are a threat. And fighting was reported in Nablus, where they tried to detain some terrorists. They seized weapons, and then the suspect was detained. And then the Palestinian residents reacted violently, and they attacked the military, including so the military actually fought back with riot control, including some .22 caliber fires, and they apparently was hit by live fire and explosive as well. So there is some militants within Nablus as well that caused the Israeli to actually got under attack. Airstrikes were then hit in Gaza City, immediately killing 3. So it's 3 different strikes, if I'm not wrong, and it killed all 3 leaders of the PIJ. And this is massive because, you know, how many leaders do an organization have? One time they killed these 3 of them. So these 3 died on the first day of the operation. And this is particularly, you know, it is a stark difference from, you know, the Ukraine war. As within the Ukraine war, you know, that you can see that the Russians avoided killing leaderships, but within this operation is very different. The Israeli specifically targets the leadership. So all 3 died, including some of their family members. Reported by the health ministry in Gaza, saying that 13 people have died actually in the missile strike or the airstrike. So interesting again, PIJ did not react immediately also. So this is one of this very weird conflict where, you know, both sides did not react fast enough to things that is happening on the ground. And on the next day, on the 10th of May, Israel's Minister of Energy and Infrastructure, his name is literally Israel Katz, he threatened to assassinate the Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and other senior officials if Hamas enter into war or takes the side of the PIJ. That means if PIJ is now firing rockets into Israel, and should the Hamas also enter into the conflict, they will target all this leadership and assassinate or kill them. So this is a threat, direct threat to Hamas. So this is a clear message to Hamas, Katz told the Israel Kan 11 News. If you join the violence and firing, Sinwar, DF, they will be the first target we will work to eliminate. And if they try to harm us, they will be harmed more severely. We are preparing for the possibility of one response or another, and we will retaliate accordingly. So this is, I think, the most aggressive and gung-ho Israel I have ever remember seeing. You know, I never really see Israel being so aggressive. Despite they do you know, aggressive move militarily, but you know, this is like outright, you know, unbelievable. So anyway, as a result, Hamas did not enter the conflict. This is reported by senior Israeli officers. They say that the Hamas have not joined the PIJ in launching rockets at Israel. So they say that the Hamas have no interest to get involved. They are not active, and they won't be, although they are issuing statement according to this source. So this is very interesting. And I think for Hamas, so I read in another sources that Hamas have no interest in this conflict because Hamas is trying to build up Gaza Strip, and they prefer to, you know, do what a government should do. And generally speaking, if you look at who died, the hunger strike person is an activist affiliated to the PIJ. I don't think Hamas want to get involved in that sense. So it's like, it's really not their problem. So Israel, however, is you know, preparing for this conflict to go out of control. So they deployed the Iron Dome in the northern part of Israel, bordering Lebanon, just in case. And then airstrikes was reported near the Khan Yunis border fence. Why? Because like I said, PIJ, you know, was like shocked by the death of 3 of their leaders. They probably didn't know what to do. Finally, the next day they decided to send an anti-tank missile squad to the border fence. So they want to, you know, take out some Israeli tanks or something. But they got spotted, and then they got destroyed from the air. So the airstrike hits them, and there goes that strike squad, which is kind of underwhelming if you think about it. It's only like 1 squad. So then arrest operations happens in Tubas. And then again, there is some exchange of fire between armed and the IDF. And yeah, then one of these service women got hit by shrapnels. So no, not important. You know, people get injured or die in the conflicts. Then shelling starts. The massive shelling starts. Shelling is reported at Ashkelon, at Ashdod, and then of course at Sderot. Sderot is just next to Gaza Strip, so you know this is a prime target. So which is why you know the street design is particularly beautiful, you know, to entice you to stay here, because it's like, look at this, you know, beautiful place. Then but you're just next to a Gaza Strip, you know, anytime you can get mortar strike. So so at least you got nice streets. Then shelling also was reported at Tel Aviv, and then so this is the fighting has officially, you know, go into, you know, the main, you know, into the gear. And then on the 11th, airstrike happens again in Khan Yunis, but this time now they took out another leader. This is the 4th PIJ leader to be taken out, and this is particularly important because this guy Ali Ghali is actually the leader of he's the commander of the Islamic Jihad's rocket squad. So he was killed in the Qatari built residential complex in Khan Yunis. So another leader is gone, and then yet another leader is gone. So the 5th PIJ leader was then taken out right on the same day, and this guy is Ahmad Abu Deka. And this guy, according to the articles, apparently tried to hide with a lot of people, according to the Israeli press. And so the IDF said that they refrained striking him because there were, you know, too many people, innocent civilians around them, and so they did not strike. But the moment he get away, they waited for 2 days and then finally took him out. So 5 leaders got taken out within 2 days or 3 days. Then Egypt started to, you know, come into the picture. They wanted to try to broker a peace between the Islamic Jihad and the Israelis. Interestingly, you know, Islamic Jihad, the PIJ, is actually declared as a terrorist organization by the United States, and Egypt can actually communicate with them quite freely, which is pretty interesting. So news reports starting to be declared, you know, Egypt has started to begin contacting the Palestinian and the Israelis to try to secure some kind of truce. So the next day, on the 12th of May, the PIJ representative arrived in Cairo, which is also very interesting how he can reach Cairo, you know, so freely. Maybe this guy is not in Palestine at all. So Muhammad Al-Hindi arrived in Cairo. He is actually the top Islamic Jihad political bureau member, and in the same report, the Egyptians also sent a delegation to Israel. However, fighting continues. Shelling is being reported at Rehovot, and then Israel don't want to talk to the Egyptians because any ceasefire has to be met with no rocket attacks from PIJ. So, and then interestingly, the PIJ shelled Jerusalem. This is kind of awkward because it's totally not within the conflict zone, and Jerusalem got struck by PIJ. And interestingly is what comes out from their mouth. In their statement, they say that the bombing of Jerusalem sends a message. What is happening in Jerusalem is not separate from Gaza. So they try to, you know, pull everyone down into the sea and all drown together. Israel then closed the Erez checkpoint, as well as the Karam Shalom checkpoint. So basically, this is the two checkpoints. These two areas is the two roads that actually you can send cargo into the Gaza Strip. The entire place is just designed to be encircled and to be blockaded. So Israel closed the 2 crossings and blockaded the entire of Gaza Strip. And then Hezbollah, the Lebanon, nothing to do with them, but Hezbollah come out onto the news, into the television and say that they congratulate the Palestinians, for their resistance against the Israelis. And then they say that they will not hesitate to provide any assistance at any time imposed on them, because of their sense of responsibility. But they did nothing. They did nothing. They literally just did nothing. So maybe there's no phone for the PIJ. They cannot call Hezbollah, or they do not have direct contact. So yeah, Hezbollah just talk and then sing song, play mahjong, and then the 6th leader got taken out on the 12th. So by the 4th day, the 6th PIJ leader is taken out, and this time around they take out this guy called Iyad al-Hassani. This guy is very interesting because he's the replacement for the person that was killed on the first day of the operation, and he became the top leader after the top leader was killed, and he was the top leader for 2 days and he got killed. So according to I forgot the spokesman, Daniel Hagari of the Israeli Defense Forces, he said al-Hassani was appointed 2 days ago to replace Khalid Bahitini, and 2 days later he's no longer with us. So basically it's a message sent to PIJ and all its members that it doesn't matter who you are, you can replace with anyone, they will be instantly killed. So as long as the fighting continues, they will be taken out. And this actually freaks out the PIJ. So the PIJ, the guy, the guy that went to Egypt, he actually announced that in a quite not so convincing way, he said that the Palestinian resistance will not stop until Israel agrees to ceasefire conditions. And what is the ceasefire condition? So they previously wanted the body of Kader Adnan, which Israel actually wants to give it back to them, and then insisted that Israel must pledge to stop assassinating Palestinian resistance leaders. This is basically telling Israel that they have lost the fight, because the whole methodology of Israelis fight now is to just take out all the leaders. And for the head of the political bureau of the Islamic Jihad to say that please stop killing the leaders. If you stop, then we stop. Which is basically a vote of surrender. Basically they have lost. This is an extremely weak, very very weak ceasefire condition. So, but fighting continues. Airstrike was reported in Berhanot, in the border region, and then after that there was another strike reported at Rafah, and then another strike was reported at Balahia, and another strike was reported in El Zatoun, within the Gaza city. So what is significant is that I believe that the Balahia and the Berhanot are strikes on rocket sites, because these are just next to the border. I think this is what they are, and are probably the ones within which one? Within the Zatoun, maybe is also one of those missile. They say that it's a Palestinian house owned by someone else. So, but maybe this is some gathering point for some leaders or something. Got strike, and another one at Rafah that was strike. So this strike continues to cripple the PIJ's ability to fight back against the Israeli, which is actually not much of a fight, because it's just simply launching rockets that Israeli can intercept easily, and these rockets are usually very very inaccurate. So, and while this is happening because of the closure of these crossings, the Gaza power plant is running out of fuel. So according to the Palestinians, they say that they only left with 72 hours of fuel, and the power plant might entirely shut off. Since the start of the conflict, they are rationing the electricity, I think, to 12 hours or 10 hours a day. So even that, they needed the fuel, and they are not getting the fuel. So this is part of the Israeli strategy to control the Gaza Strip, to make sure that the Palestinian within the Gaza Strip follows and keep the peace with Israel. However, shelling continues. This continues, but they did have some kind of agreement that the ceasefire will be at 10 p.m. So, but before that, shelling is reported at Gush at Rishon LeZion, and as well as at Holon. So all this shelling is actually within the Tel Aviv region, and this is the final hurrah for the PIJ, as finally the ceasefire declared and was confirmed and agreed upon, and the fighting have stopped. And that marks the end of the operation of the shield and arrow. This entire operation, this entire Israeli operation within the Gaza Strip is a massive success for the Israeli. Is not just a success militarily, but it's also a success diplomatically, and basically the entire leadership within the Gaza Strip of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad has been wiped out. Literally, the entire head of the organization has been capitulated. Only the spiritual leader that was not living in the Gaza Strip or Palestine, what is his name? I forgot his name. So they have one leader that literally is marked as a terrorist, and he's hidden somewhere within Lebanon and Syria. Nobody knows where he's. Nobody knows whether he actually still have control over the organization, but everyone else is dead. And not just everyone else within the leadership is dead, the replacement is dead too. So this literally crippled the entire organization, and based on something that I read, I think they had around 2,000 rockets. I believe in this operation, I think the group, the PIJ, have launched, I think, easily 1,000 rockets. So with the additional airstrikes, perhaps they have already expended most of their ammunition as well. So the PIJ has entirely weakened and basically crippled. Hamas did not help. Hamas did not come in to back them, which also shows a sign that there is some kind of internal conflict or differences between the two organizations. The objective is kind of different, which is kind of surprising to me, because Hamas tends to be that the group that don't seems to think very clearly, but this time around they seem to to prioritize the humanitarian side more, to build up Gaza, or the entire Gaza Strip for the people. It seems like this is actually a very positive change. And from what I read as well, the Hamas has been working with the Israeli as well to build up and to develop Gaza Strip as well. So perhaps this is a sign where the PIJ really miscalculated their position, and they started a war that they cannot win. So anyway, this is the summary for the day for the Operation Shield and Arrow that occurs between 9 to the 14th of May. So do press the like button, subscribe, and do let me know your comments. What do you think about this operation? What's your thoughts? Is the Israelis still the evil people, or the Palestinians are still or are the innocent people? Or maybe you can also tell me about what do you think about this kind of video, and let me know. And of course, important, like, subscribe, you must like like this video, and then share this into your social media. Just spam it Maybe someone within your contact circle might be interested, because you never know. And I'll see you in the next update.